NATO Chief warns Canada that Russia and China have designs on the north. Kind of hard for us to respond when we have technical issues with our own patrol ships. This is the Great White North Report. Okay, so the NATO Chief arrived in Canada to talk to Trudeau and the Liberal cabinet, as well as our military heads, and he warns us that the Russians and Chinese have designs on the Arctic. That's nothing new. I mentioned that like over a year ago, I believe. Maybe even 2 years ago. You have to go back to my videos and find it. Where I mentioned that Russia has been rearming their northern Arctic bases, and that China is seeking to become a near Arctic power. And that China considers itself a near Arctic power when it's nowhere near the Arctic Circle. Why is Russia doing this? Well, Russia is rearming, and their side of the Arctic is full of natural resources. And there's probably a huge deposit of natural resources pretty close to the Arctic Circle. So they might try to encroach on Canadian reserves, if it's possible. China would love to exploit the Arctic area and try and muscle in on everyone else's boundaries. Of course, they're not going to muscle in on China. The Chinese aren't going to muscle in on Russia or the United States. It'll be like small countries like us, Canada, or the Danes, or Norwegians. They'll try and muscle in on. Or they'll have their companies come in to extract all the resources. Or what the Chinese will do, the Chinese will buy up a company in Canada and use it to extract resources that get shipped home. The Chinese are also looking at the Northwest Passage. As the sea ice melts. That could be a cheaper alternative than going the long way around to the Suez Canal and other ports of entry to get to the European market a lot quicker. So it is possible. So NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg ended his trip to Canada's north on Friday by underlining the threats to the region posed by Russia and China. He stood alongside our glorious leader Justine at one of the country's principal northern fighter jet bases in Cold Lake, Alberta. He cited a list of actions Moscow has taken in the far north in cooperation with Beijing. So, like I mentioned, Russia has set up a new Arctic command. It has opened hundreds of new and former Soviet-era Arctic military sites, including airfields and deep-water ports. Russia is also using the region as a testbed for many of its new novel weapon systems. Well, there's not many deep-water ports up there that are not ice-free all year round. China expanded its reach and has declared itself a near-Arctic state with plans to build the world's largest icebreaker. First of all, we should not be allowing the Chinese anywhere near our waters. And I don't think the U.S. would allow them anyway. The Russians might allow them through their part of the Bering Strait, but then not allow them anywhere else in their territory. China just tries to muscle in everywhere. They're worse than the United States and the Russians ever were. So China is investing billions of dollars in energy infrastructure and research projects in the high north. Basically, they tried to buy a gold mine in northern Canada and we shut it down, thank God. They pledged to intensify practical operation in the Arctic, forms of part of the deepening strategic partnerships that challenges our values and interests. Putin right now is in a weak position because his little Ukrainian adventure has not gone according to plan. And it's putting tremendous strain on the Russians' economy and their military power. Will Russia fall? No. Will Russia win that war? Probably, but it's going to take a lot more than they thought. It's going to be one of those Pyrrhic victories. So Stoltenberg, he emphasized NATO's growing interest in Arctic defense, especially in light of Sweden and Finland's plans to join the military alliance. Sweden and Finland aren't exactly Arctic powers, but they can help protect it. So Norway, Iceland, Denmark, Canada, the United States, and Russia make up the Arctic powers. The only one I would consider to be a near Arctic power would be the British, through the Orkneys and Shetlands. Denmark is an Arctic power simply because of Greenland. But Canada's military is in very piss-poor shape. Very much so. We need new fighter jets, we need new frigates, and our Arctic patrol ships are not heavily armed, and we also need new submarines. We need everything across the board, plus we need men. So the NATO chief and Trudeau spoke about the increased cooperation but stopped short of committing to major NATO-led exercises on Canadian soil in the far north. Interesting, because Trudeau was all ready to let the People's Liberation Army of China to train in Canada until Rebel News broke that story and helped shut it down. Yves Brodier, a former Canadian ambassador to NATO said formally inviting the alliance to train the Arctic would send an important signal to Russia and also China. Shut China out of our Arctic completely. What, have we forgotten what they've done in the last 3 years? Kidnapped Kavri and Spavor and held them for almost 3 years, plus they unleashed a virus on the world. Yeah, I really want the Chinese Communist Party in my country. But of course, they're already embedded here. But you know, it would help if we had training exercises in our far north and invite all the other NATO countries to help us. Now, why don't we have it? Because for some reason we're reluctant to work with allies other than the United States in the far north. The reasons relate to sovereignty. Well, we just already concluded the Whiskey War with Denmark pretty peacefully. No big deal there. So I'm pretty sure us and the Danes can work together. The Norwegians don't really have any real strategic goals in our area of the north. And I highly doubt the Brits will too. In fact, it won't hurt our sovereignty any. But it's because that a lot of countries, the US, the UK, Germany, France, Belgium, Japan, the European Commission, Singapore, and Russia have over the past 40 years formally protested or registered dissenting opinions over Canada's claim that the Northwest Passage is an internal Canadian waterway. Well, it is an internal Canadian waterway. It's not an international passage. It's never been attractive because it's been icebound. But if it becomes, with global warming and the lack of ice, it might be. Which is why we need a bigger Navy to formally patrol it. And more bases up there. So our experts think that asking other countries to help defend the region, especially those that don't recognize Canada's claim, could be seen as weakening Canada's position. Not really. Like, we're not going to ask the Japanese to come in, or the Russians, or the Singaporeans. I don't know why they're on that list. Singapore is only on the list because they see the Northwest Passage as a cheaper alternative to Europe. And that's all it's about. A cheaper route from Asia to Europe. And if we have our claims, then we can have tolls. Make some money off it. And why shouldn't we? If we're patrolling it, we should be the one collecting tolls on this stuff. Now, Trudeau says the Northwest Passage is Canadian waters, period. Well, yes, I agree. But we need to do something to protect it. And that's where Trudeau and his government has fallen way short. Now, the United States, they also would like to see it as a free navigable passage. But I think with the United States, we should allow, in helping us defend our foreign north as part of NORAD, we should allow them to have free toll passage through the Northwest Passage as an ally. Help us defend it, we'll give you free shipping. It's not that hard. But shut everyone else out. If the Brits help us defend it, we give them free shipping. For their ships only, not for anything from Singapore or Japan or China. So they took a tour of a military radar site which needs to be upgraded. And it's the first visit by the NATO General Secretary to Canada's Arctic. So what do we have to do? Well, first of all, we have to fix all our problems with our current patrol ships. The HMCS Harry DeWolf, the first of our Arctic patrol ships, had to return to port because of generator problems. It was supposed to become part of Operation Nanook, the force's yearly northern operation, but problems arose and forced her to return to Halifax, a main diesel generator. Because it's the first of its class, it shouldn't be breaking down. It's only a 3-year-old ship. And it has, even though it has 4 generators, it could run on 3 if it had to, but they're going to take it back to port right now. It's not a very big ship, has 65 crew members, it only has 1 main gun that's not very big, and it's like throwing, if an actual warship came through, it couldn't do much. So Operation Nanook objective this year was to have 2 Arctic patrol ships in the north at once. The other vessel of the same class as the HMCS Margaret Brooke. There's also a third one, the Max Bernier's, which is already undergoing sea trials. So we have 3 of them in the water. The other 2 are currently being built. I think 1 is almost completed. And the 6th one, they've cut the steel on, I believe. The plans were to complete Arctic research and engage with communities, such as Pond Inlet, will still go ahead. So they're going to do it with 1 boat, and hopefully they can get the other boat up there. And last year, Operation Nanook conducted rescue operations in the north to traverse the Northwest Passage. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to control the Northwest Passage. But we need more than 1 or 2 boats up there. In fact, once they're all built, all 6 of them should be up north, and there should be one or 2 facilities that can help repair them. There should be a repair depot and supply depot in the north so they don't have to always come back to Halifax. Or if anything, there should be one out in up in Newfoundland, somewhere close by. Coming back to Halifax is kind of defeating the purpose. It will take them a long time to get there and back. What we really need up there is a couple of submarines that can stay underwater for a long period of time under the ice. And we also need a bigger Arctic patrol ship that's more heavily armed, instead of these little pea shooters they got on the ones we have now. But like I said in my previous video, the Russians are heavily arming their Arctic Circle area. Now, how long that lasts under their current difficulties and their poor military showing in Ukraine right now, but they're still a threat up there. And the Chinese are being complete assholes as always, and I think we should definitely shut the door on them. But like I said, we need bigger ships up there, submarines that can go under the surface, and we also need more fighter jets and patrol aircraft up in that region. But hey, I'm not the one controlling things. Instead, we have the inmates running the asylum at the moment. But anyway, any Canadians out there, let me know what you guys think of the far north, the issues in the far north. What can we do to correct it, or should we just let it go to hell, go to waste? Leave comments in the comment section. And until next time, this has been the Great White North Report.